Good afternoon and welcome. We're here in Brighton and it's stage 7 of the Tour of Britain, taking us from Camberley to Brighton, the longest stage of the Tour of Britain so far, 226.5 kilometres, with 3 brutal climbs in the last 25 Ks, 2 of which are going to be first category. And they do say, don't they, that fortune favours the brave. And it certainly were 3 brave souls that went out yesterday, took a lead of 9 minutes after the first hotspot sprint of the day was taken by the race leader at that particular time, Michał Kwiatkowski of Amiga Pharma Quickstep. He was closely followed by Sir Bradley Wiggins of Team Sky, who took a valuable 2-second bonus. But the day then belonged to these 3 hardy souls: Tom Stewart of Madison Genesis, also there Alex Dowsett of Movistar, and Matthias Brandl of Yam Cycling, the young Austrian on that team, on the roads into Hemel Hempstead. Very difficult, undulating roads too. They stole a lead of 8 minutes, which was gradually whittled down by the peloton, but it was too little, too late. Mark McNally there on the left-hand side, snaffling up points in the King of the Mountains classification to all but wrap that classification up. But as the tarmac was running out, it was desperation stakes in the peloton. Team Sky came to the front to lend a hand, also riders from BMC. We even saw Mark Cavendish on the front riding for his team leader Kwiatkowski, but Alex Dowsett drove all the way to the finish, dropping off the Chiltern Hills into Hemel Hempstead. Matthias Brandl seized the opportunity after working so well all day to take his 2nd consecutive stage for Yam Cycling. Dowsett rolled across the line in 2nd place with Tom Stewart in 3rd, and wrestled the lead, in fact, from Michał Kwiatkowski, and now sits atop the rankings in 1st position, with Kwiatkowski now in 2nd place. 34 seconds adrift. Zardini down to 3rd at 40, and Nicholas Roach 4th. Dylan Teuns stood 51 seconds. Defending champion Sir Bradley Wiggins now 1 minute and 2 seconds adrift in 7th place. Well, this is what it's all about today, from Camberley to Brighton. We start off in Camberley, and the road snakes southerly before then heading back in an easterly direction for the first hotspot sprint in Horsham. And then the road continues to snake in an easterly direction, another hotspot sprint in Newark before the 3rd hotspot sprint in Helsham, and then that's when it starts to get very hilly indeed. The climbs of Beachy Head, Ditchling Beacon, and then Bear Road before the drop down into the finish on Madeira Drive on the Victorian Terrace there in Brighton. A grandstand finish it is certainly going to be. Who will reign supreme today? Only time will tell, but it's the longest stage of the race, 226 kilometres. And a quite interesting route, as designed by the race organisers. Yet again, a real sting in the tail at the finale. And it's certainly going to be a roller coaster ride, as we see some holidaymakers on the pier there. And there's Matthias Brandl signing some autographs. The new superstar is the young Austrian. There's a smiling Mark McNally. There's Nicholas Roach. Still up there on general classification is the Irishman riding on the Tinkoff Saxo team. There's a few of the Garmin Sharp team, Jack Bauer on the left, and there's the new leader of the race, Alex Dowsett. But Bradley Wiggins, Sir Bradley Wiggins, always a pull for the crowd, signing autographs. And there's the deposed leader, Michał Kwiatkowski of Poland, perhaps ruining what happened the previous day. A smiling Mark Cavendish signs his book there for the fans. And again, another smile on the face of Ben Swift, now ensconced in the white and blue points leader's jersey. But Alex Dowsett, new race leader, Sebastian Lander there in the green jersey of the Yodel Points sprint classification as they rolled out of Camberley. A nice easy start for the riders today, 9 kilometres of neutralised section. But then it was all action, as it has been for pretty much every single stage of the race. Great crowds, as there always is in Surrey, to greet the riders. But a breakaway soon. Road clear as soon as the flag was dropped. As you can see, really high speeds from the start. Very high speeds throughout this race. And numerous attacks to try and make the break stick. Riders from BMC attacking, also Madison Genesis up in the mix. Team Rally also there, an early attack there, didn't quite stick, and that was Jack Bauer, been aggressive throughout this race so far for Garmin Sharp. Remarkably powerful rider, but it wasn't quite enough. A couple of larger moves went clear there. So Heinrich Hausler on the front there, pulling a group clear with members of NetApp Endura, Amiga Pharma Quickstep, also Ben Swift. So lots of action early on in this stage, so much at stake in this race. But as we join our pictures live, it's 5 riders that have managed to move clear of a very fast-moving peloton, and they have a quite incredible lead, approaching 9.5 minutes. We have Kevin Ister of YAM Cycling, the 29-year-old Belgian. He's not too much of a problem on general classification, sitting at 14 minutes and 34 seconds. Also with him, we have Dylan van Baal of Garmin, 22 years of age, and he is a definite threat overall. Sits at only 1 minute and 25 seconds. He's the rider in the blue, red and white, leading at the moment. And the rider just rolling through on the front, Marcin Biablowski of the Giordano Racing Team, the Polish rider there. He's sitting at 5 minutes and 32. And to round out the group, one of the riders that you'll recognise, familiar face on the front of the peloton over the last few days, working for his leader. He's now been given free rein to go out in front and attack, and that's Julian Vermont of Belgium, riding on the Amiga Pharma Quickstep team. And there's the lead, a quite incredible 10 minutes. We saw the lead go out yesterday for our 3 breakaways to just around 9 minutes. With 94 kilometres to go, 10-minute lead, and we have one team on the front only, and that's Movistar, working for Alex Dowsett, our new leader. Sitting alongside me is Magnus Backstedt, looking incredulous as I am at this lead. Magnus, 10-minute lead, 94 kilometres to go. Yes, granted, there's a very, very hard finish to today's stage, but that is dangerous yet again. Has there been a miscalculation?
Well, whether it's been a miscalculation or not, I think it's quite strange that they've let it go to that, say, sort of a very similar time gap as we had yesterday, and certainly with 5 very, very strong riders in the front group, you'd think that they'd be a little bit more careful than that, and perhaps just keep them a closer hand. But it doesn't seem like Movistar are getting an awful lot of help either from any of the other teams in the peloton. So effectively, there might be a similar kind of scenario like we had yesterday in that stage.
I mean, we saw Matthias Brandl, Tom Stewart and Alex Dowsett go take the opportunity and seize the moment after the first hotspot sprint yesterday. And reading some post-race interviews, Matthias Brandl had a bit of a word with Alex Dowsett. It was a very, very fast start. We saw several riders, or more than that, have dropped from the rear of the peloton on the undulating start out of Bath. But he said he thought Amiga Pharma Quickstep were under pressure. They'd been having to chase down a lot of moves and seize that particular moment. And as we know, this is a sport that's all about finding the right moment, and it's seizing opportunities when they come. He went away, Tom Stewart went across with him, then they opened up that lead. There's Tom Stewart on the right-hand side, who took 3rd place on the stage yesterday. But this is very dangerous. Yesterday we saw Amiga Pharma Quickstep chasing all day, and it was only in the last 10 or 15 kilometres that any other teams came to the front. We saw some assistance from Bardiani, a little bit of help from Team Sky, but it was too little, too late.
It was very much too little, too late, and I must say I was rather disappointed in a lot of the bigger teams yesterday that none of them really took it up and started to help out and actually, you know, respected the fact that this is a big race, and it's a race that you can't just throw away like that. And effectively, that's borderline what they did yesterday. I mean, luckily they managed to close down the gap enough that the race is still open. But it's going to be difficult again, or it certainly was at this morning, was still open. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this 5-man group, because they're certainly looking very strong out there. But, you know, you got to make sure that you protect the leader's jersey and the opportunity to effectively go and win the bike race. And I think on Saxo Team Sky yesterday really lacked in that department. And they're probably the two of the strongest teams in this bike race as well, apart from Amiga Pharma Quickstep.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. And it was, as we can see, it's the dark navy jerseys of Movistar now on the front. Bardiani not far behind. Then the red and black of BMC. The bunch all lined out. We still have 92 kilometres to go. There's the team of YAM Cycling. They've got Kevin Ister in the move, of course, but this is a lead that's going to be very, very difficult to bring back